So I wanted to put a bit of focus on the Type 61. It's a main battle of tank of Japan, developed and used by the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force, made by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. Development started in 1955 and the first vehicle was rolled out in 1961, hence the name Type 61. And the total number of these vehicles ever put in service was 560, and it was manufactured between 1961 and 1975, with the last tank seeing service in 1980. So we'll have a look around the tank. The engine's in the back. There's a low chance of fire. When I get some more crew skills, I shall probably run some food on this tank. Tracks, turret, radios in the back of the turret. Ammunition stowage is pretty safe on this thing, which is a godsend. The crew maybe not so much. The driver especially is behind a very thin veil of rice paper. So here's the armour. Nothing really to talk about. Sides, nothing. Gonna get penned. HE in the sides is gonna hurt. Artillery is gonna hurt. These, even at this angle, those plates aren't working. This stuff, this can bounce at this sort of angle here. But you know, if you're at that angle, you only want to have your front poking out the front of a building, and hope they didn't pen your tracks. Strongest parts are these two bits, and now when you hold down using that 10 degrees of gun depression, you're pretty much going to be drawing the fire onto that mantlet. And because you've got such a slender turret, they'll either be aiming at the cupola on the top, which I'm showing you now, which is a really thin piece of armour, everything's penning it, or they'll just get drawn into that gun mantlet, which you want to hope they do, because it's quite thick and it might, get you a bounce or two. Spaced armour. As you can see, these sides are trash, and the top of the turret is trash, so it's not going to really do any bouncing. Now the packages. First package is basically an upgraded STA-1, gives you a faster fire rate. Second package gives you the upgraded turret, which means you get an even further upgraded fire rate, but you still don't get the engine. You still got that 90mm gun, but you get 12 rounds a minute, which is 5-second reloads, so that's almost machine gun like. And then this one gives you the same but with an upgraded engine, so you move and accelerate off the spot faster. And then you've got this, which I'm running at the minute because I put free XP towards it, so not free, a convertible XP. It gives you a reload every 10 seconds without any equipment or skills. And the gun, as you'll see in gameplay, is good. Accuracy is good. Dispersion after firing is not so good. Dispersion on turning the turret is not so good, but the trade-off is you get 10 degrees of gun depression and a rapid rate of fire on a 105mm gun. So let's take it in the battle. So it's a bit of a hit and miss, this map, isn't it? As we all know, it's Overlord. It's my first game in the Type 61. Gracefully, it gives me top tier matchmaking. I am one of 2 tier 9s on my team, and the enemy get a VKB and a tortoise. So, as we all know, the hit and miss is, do the enemy go up the top, or do the enemy go to the beach? Because usually one way or another, they all lemming train one way, or they all lemming train the other. So, using the 10 degrees of gun depression I've been gifted with this vehicle, I felt I would test it out at the top where all the lumps and bumps were. So first things first, I wanted to just check and see what it's like over the side of the tank, and we managed to get ourselves an easy first pen. So the light tank that tried to come and have a little look, we give him a right royal dose of "Oi Sonny, off you go." So because I don't have that much armour, I didn't want to get super aggressive until I really get used to what this tank does. And there you go, you see the dispersion on firing and turning the turret. I missed. So I sensed that because the light tank had done what he'd done, there really wouldn't have been, I think the enemy would have been being a bit more aggressive by now in this area up here in the road. So once again, the 10 degrees of gun depression would have saved me over this hump had there been anything in this middle road for me to attack. But no, what the enemy had done is trusted their tier 9s to lead them into battle further down around the air raid shelter area, and in their infinite wisdom, as they started to pop up on the map, had gone to the beach. Now, yes, there is reason to cover the beach because of those people, but to be honest, why would you want to fight your way back up a hill, as you'll see at the end? Why would you want to fight your way back up the hill into the enemy unless that flank was completely open and you knew it? If you make it to the other end and you see that you're one of 3 tanks remaining, wouldn't you think, no, this didn't really work and we won't try that again? Anyway, we pick up our first kill. It was an easy kill, tier 7. We pick up our second kill. And we pick up our third kill. As you can see, as you turn the turret, the bloom gets big. So it's a trait with these Japanese vehicles. I don't know if it was something to do with the amount of sake that the drivers or the gunners had been drinking, but it certainly has odd gun handling stats. Now, this is very odd. Watch this. This is the arse of a Ferdinand. How strong is this? Really impressed with that. Well angled reverse side scraping in a Ferdinand. It took me to shoot him in the very back doors to pen him. So that tank that had the cheek to fire at me from the right is insta dead. The Ferdinand's insta dead. You can see how quickly we'd worked our way through the enemy. So the VKB, with his amazing frontal armour, then doesn't realise that he doesn't have anything in his backside, and I don't think he actually realised that there was a tank right in his backside. No, Sonny, where do you think you're going? So now we're left with the tier 9, the other tier 9 on the enemy team, the Lorraine 40 ton. Sorry, we had a Tortoise and me. They had a Lorraine 40 ton and a VKB. That's how it was. My apologies. So yeah, they left with the Lorraine, who had led these two. Oh, new physics there. Nearly flipped the tank. Done it once today. It's not very pleasant. 10 seconds upside down is a bit frightening. So here comes the 10 degrees of gun depression to my loving and liking. I can sit up above these dudes, essentially making me hold down. I do get penned once, I think, but I'm willing to take one in this engagement now. We finish off the Lorraine. Well done, Sonny. And then we finish off the T-32. There isn't much to take off of him, but we do pick up that 5th. And more importantly, game ending kill. My first ever outing in the Type 61. I was quite happy with that. Picked up a high caliber medal. Sniper. 51,000 credits. 3,810 XP. A Reaper, a Mastery 2. Not bad. Not bad. I'm in love.